You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Since 96, MLS has been the youngest soccer league. From 10 teams to 30, playoffs and parity. Battered MLS bring local guests to cover games. Analysis firsthand, not Google like other lames. Stats and recaps cover the West and East. Can't forget, we're on Sean Johnson, watch every week. DPs for the elite, 10 can get you the vets. Playoff trees as American as it gets. It's time to turn off the world, grab a drink and let's go. We're Battered MLS fans, so lock in on the show. Battered MLS fans, so lock in on
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Battered fans are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 94 of the Battered MLS Fans podcast. I am your host, Dave Garan, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
We're reaching the end of the road, and it ends on Saturday.
That's it this season. How many games are played in a season? There's got to be a couple. It doesn't get to 1,000, but it's got to be a lot. But yes, we're at the end. One game left. It's going to be a 2:30 start. And an interesting topic that came up across on Twitter that I put out there, and what was the ticket sales, because apparently the MLS controls the final. So once it gets to the final, supposedly, once it gets to the final, that's it. It's a wrap. MLS takes over. If you had season tickets to the team, guess what? This no longer is your home stadium. Like, this is just a neutral site where they're hosting the game. So I posed that question, and we started reaching out to different people. And apparently, the Galaxy said that's not true. That's not how it worked for us last year. Vancouver said last week, not true. Last week we heard that if we host, we also get our seats. So it's been kind of interesting. I asked Cincinnati fans if that's what happened with them, but it turns out that they never made the final. Shout out to Justin Blair that just joined us. So it's an interesting topic just because I feel like there's no clarity there. And I think that I wish that there was more clarity, because if I found out that nobody ever got their tickets, then it would make more sense to me. But the fact that some do, some don't, is it really on the front offices or is it on the league? So I'm just curious if anybody has any of that info, leave it in the comments, because I am interested in that.
Well, and I mean, I think that's a concern, right? The fact that you have some instances where the MLS has more control and some other instances where the organization has control. Like, I don't understand why there isn't just a consistent process with this. You have LA Galaxy fans that say, well, we were locked in for MLS Cup. And you got LAFC fans when they played against Philly that said MLS was under control. We're talking about two teams in the same city, had completely different options.
Yeah.
Right? And again,
because LAFC fans are commenting and they're like, no, we didn't get it. MLS controls it. And Galaxies are like, we did.
But then, like, what's the difference there? And then on top of that, we have not only do we have recent examples with Vancouver from last week, but even the last year, Inter Miami, when they sent out the information for the tickets, you see on the bottom, MLS Cup was included in the packaging. So
but then Atlanta in 2018 didn't get it either, and that was 2018. So I think the lack of consistency there is where I think that maybe the MLS says, hey, we're going to take over unless you guys want to be fair to your season ticket holders. And I think that might be ultimately it. I think the MLS says, hey, we need this many tickets for our sponsors and all that other stuff. But if you want to work with your season ticket holders, we'll work with you. And I think that is ultimately what happens here, because for some teams to get it, some others to not. I think the front office does have a say. And it's an interesting thing that I wish some people could look into.
And the loaner's asking, was it for Final 2, Chris? Yes. Last year's playoffs included the Audi MLS Cup Final.
Yeah.
So that was
interesting. It's MLS Cup Final week, though. The game is now 5 days away. Is this, because I've seen some people write this, and I don't know if it's recency biased. I don't know if it's a fact. Do you think that this is the 30th season, this is the 30th final ever? Is this the biggest final in MLS history?
I think if you think about the players or the player that's going to be playing in this final, which is Messi, you would automatically say yes, right? Because Messi surpasses any player that has played in the MLS final ever, right? But not only that, we also have the World Cup that's coming to the United States next year. That's huge. Like the buildup, not only just for the MLS, but for American football, right? American soccer is like pretty critical. So to be able to call this MLS probably the most important, or if not, I guess the biggest, final, I think it's fair to say. I don't know what other final would match or even contend.
I looked it up, and by viewership, the biggest one before this was viewed by over 2 million people in the U.S.
The
alone. So just
LAFC
in the
one.
U.S., 2 million people. LAFC Philadelphia,
I knew
which
it.
ended up being, it's probably the best final ever played, because it went to extra time. Gareth Bale made that memorable
Carlos
goal
Vela.
at the end. Yeah, that was a game. They won the Supporters Shield. That was the first time a team in a very long time had won the Supporters Shield and the MLS Cup. And that was a great game. So not only was it the most viewed, but probably the best one, at least that I can remember. I haven't watched all 30 of them. And in 2016 was viewed by 3.5 million in USA and Canada combined, and that was the Toronto Seattle Sounders when the Sounders beat Toronto. So that one was also viewed. So I think those are the two highest viewed in the last 10 years. This one has to clear that by a mile, right? Because the Toronto one got a lot of viewership because you had a lot of Canadians tuning in, right? Because they're repping Canada. You got that with this one also, with Vancouver.
And not only that, Danny, but like I brought this up to you earlier as well. You have the whole history with Thomas Mueller versus Lionel Messi, where you'll have international fans that follow Bundesliga and international fans that just want to poo-poo all over the MLS and say, you know what, this is a good matchup. I kind of want to pay attention and see what's going on here. You're going to get a lot more eyes than I think anywhere near what was Philly against LAFC.
Yeah, for sure. And then Loner's asking, where were those games streamed? I believe Fox and Univision, I want to say. Yes, and in Canada on TSN. So that's where those were games.
I want to mention, because Reaper is saying Bale did nothing that season but showed up in that final. I bet you that a lot of fans who followed Bale watched that game just because he was in the final.
Yeah, even though his career didn't end the best in Europe, he wasn't doing very well in Madrid before he came over. And Justin Blair says the Cup also was earlier than most. Remember, 2022 was sped up because of the World Cup. That's right, because the World Cup was played in December that year, November, December.
Right.
I had forgotten about that, Justin. Good point. So that game was played earlier. Okay, so I'm sure that has a lot to do with it also. But big time game this weekend. I think it's probably going to be the biggest one of all time. And I'm excited for it, and for several reasons. Not just because it's Messi Mueller, because you have Canada team and a United States team, but also because two legendary careers are going to come to an end. If you're a fan of this sport, Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba, say what you want, they are legends of the game, and this is going to be their final game. Like 100%, their careers end on Saturday. So if you were looking for reasons to watch the game, you're going to watch two great careers come to an end also on Saturday. So a lot of storylines heading into this game. It's just great. Just great. And you know what? And Vancouver, if you want to add another storyline, when we did the preview show before the season started, when I had Vancouver and we had Sam on to talk Vancouver and their season, you know what the main topic of conversation was? Is Vancouver going to get relocated?
That's right.
It wasn't really about on the pitch. It was like, hey, are you guys going to be the Las Vegas Whitecaps soon? Like, what's happening? For that team to go from that back in the beginning of February to Champions Cup final, getting Thomas Mueller in the summer, which nobody expected, right? Because who thinks that Vancouver is going to get a big name, and then to go to the MLS Cup final, like to go from Vancouver is going to lose their team to Champions Cup final, Thomas Mueller, and MLS Cup final, that is one hell of a storyline. That is one hell of a ride for the Vancouver Whitecaps fans.
Well, I mean, I think that's a huge storyline just as, for the MLS in whole. And on top of that, like, it does show some sort of good trajectory for Vancouver. And then not only that, but with Jordi Alba and Busquets retiring, I mean, I wonder, do they have history against Thomas Mueller? maybe Sergio Busquets has history with Thomas Mueller. I don't
They
know.
all
I
have the
mean,
same. They all have the same, except for the World Cup. They all played together against them, unless they played
yeah.
against PSG. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I just imagine. Look, you have the Mueller versus Messi deal. You have the rematch of Vancouver versus Inter Miami for the CCC. There was a little bit of bad blood there. Listen, guys, Berhalter is also going to be in the MLS Cup, and he's going to ball out. If you guys don't know, no, I'm not retiring Bigote. People are just wishing that I retire like Soccer Daddy.
So yeah, so a lot of storylines heading into this MLS Cup final, which make it to me what's probably going to be the best. What a great way to punctuate MLS 3.0 and the 30th season of MLS than with this game this Saturday. Even though it's been a debacle with the ticket sales and everything, I think it's going to be big time. So everybody should be looking forward to it. MLS Cup week is big time, and it's obviously going to take the majority of the stories, but there are a few other stories that are kind of under the radar that I think we should touch on. One of them being the DC Bentekes are no more. Benteke, DC's decided, you know what, we're not going to exercise our option. Benteke is going to be a free agent, but we do hope to re-sign him. Benteke said, F you guys, and he already said goodbye on Instagram. So he is now officially a free agent. So we could first talk about the DC Bentekes if you want, and then we could speculate, where should he go?
Well, I mean, DC United are crying in their Benteke pajamas as we speak, right?
Then they're not, because they made that decision to not exercise that option.
Well, I mean, they're I would imagine they're going to be in a completely rebuild mode. And I mean, they lost Taxi because he's just a terrible guy. And then on top of that, you also have Benteke, who, how disappointed was he that he wasn't supplied enough help to be a better team? And on top of that, like,
what a waste of a talent, man. I've never seen such a good player on such a bad team. Golden Boot winner last year, and I've never seen a better finisher at set, like in the air, MLS wise, probably one of the best ever. Like, you knew where the ball was going. You know it was going to be cross inshallah. Like it was just crosses, and Benteke would finish it. NYCFC needs a new 9. Because Alfonso Martinez won't be there to start the year. I'm thinking Charlotte wouldn't be bad, right? Could you imagine
with Saha, the way that they play, I think so. Yep.
And then Benteke there. What about Minnesota? Minnesota with their lockdown defense, just playing the counters and set pieces. All they need is just a set piece goal once a game, and then just defend for their lives. I can see Benteke fitting in Minnesota just fine also. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up, because fits to Colorado. Yeah. You know what the thing is about the MLS is that this free agency thing doesn't really happen in the MLS too much. It's a big thing in other sports here in the United States, where like, well, we got these free agents coming up. But in general, if you're a good player, you don't really go to free agency.
Shop around.
In MLS, you don't go to another, like, you just end up going overseas. Like, if you're good, you just go overseas. But Benteke is in his mid-30s. He's going to stay in the MLS, I think. So it's really interesting to see how this plays out.
Well, and I think he can be able to still get his money here in the MLS. I mean, do you think, I mean, I don't know, maybe we have to do a little bit more research, but I don't see him going to some European team making a big fat check.
He's going to stay here. I think he's going to stay here. I think his days in Europe are done. Danny, your favorite Sergio Ramos is also a free agent. I don't see Sergio Ramos. Maybe he comes, but I know a lot of people are linking him to Miami. I don't think Miami's gonna get him, because the type of tactics that they use don't lend themselves well to a 40-year-old center back. So I don't see that happening.
I mean, Sean Callahan here saying I could see Nancy taking Benteke to Celtic. Like, what relationship does Wilfred Nancy have with Benteke? I mean, other than MLS, like, have they ever even had a conversation?
Yeah. And look, Sean Ali is leaving to Celtic already. Also, did he play half a game for Columbus and he's leaving already?
I mean, he's a guy. He's a guy.
Wow.
On the team.
That is. This is an interesting question. I put something on Twitter and see what you think. Cherundolo, which everybody hates for some reason. officially the LAFC went ahead on Twitter and they said, "Oh, thank you for your time. Parting ways. Wish you the best." And Wilfred Nancy's with Celtic. I put out, I think Cherundolo had more of a successful run with LAFC than Wilfred Nancy did with Columbus, even though Wilfred Nancy is like the best ever. Do you agree or disagree? And I asked the chat also if you have knowledge on MLS, obviously, and comments in below. Did Cherundolo have a better run than Nancy?
I absolutely think that Cherundolo had a better run than Nancy. And Justin Blair saying Nancy coached Benteke in the All-Star game last season. I mean, okay. I don't even know what to do with that. I mean, all I'm saying is I think honestly, Cherundolo had a better time. I feel like Wilfred Nancy gets like this magical like pixie dust sprinkled on him as like this essential coach, like one of the best coaches of all time. I don't see it, Danny. I mean, he had great players in 2023. After that, what was it? He won the Leagues Cup, and
he had a good run also. He won the MLS Cup in 2023. He won the
he won Leagues Cup in 2024. You said MLS it, not
Cup,
me,
right.
Soccer Daddy.
So he won the MLS Cup and the Leagues Cup. LAFC won the Supporter Shield, the MLS Cup, the Open Cup, made it to the Champions Cup final, and I think that they made it to at least the second round of the playoffs, and almost every year he was there. So, with that said, as much as
Nancy's
people want to hate on Cherundolo, no, I didn't say Nancy's overrated. I said Cherundolo is underappreciated. So I didn't say anything about Nancy. I didn't say Nancy is overrated. I said Cherundolo is underappreciated because he had one hell of a run. Yeah, you may think that Dolo ball is boring, but Dolo ball was pretty successful. That's all I'm saying. And I know I'm going to have LAFC fans like snapping at me or whatever, and Columbus fans also. But that's just the way I see it. I think that his era was more successful than Nancy's era.
I think when you have Nancy walk around with a clipboard, like the clipboard gives him like 50 extra bonus coach points. Just because he walks around with a clipboard and he starts like having side talk conversations, like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah. And then Mike B said Nancy kept out coaching Tata, so there's that. I thought that Tata had got the better of Nancy the majority of the time. I think there was only once. So, Boss Daddy's saying ever since that dude from Columbus podcast said the Crew was a dynasty after winning 2 trophies, they've been in the gutter. Yeah,
that's there's facts. That's facts.
Yeah. All right. And then, so just want to touch on a couple other things before we head out of here. Robin Jensen from Orlando City, he signed an extension, so he's going to stay. St. Clair in Minnesota. My understanding is that they're working on a deal to keep him, which is, I mean, big time. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Hugo Lloris is talking about returning to LAFC, so that should be interesting. Brenner probably gonna come back to Cincinnati. Mikel Uwe, I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. Todd the guy does it perfectly.
We should have just had Todd come on and just say his name.
Yeah, thank you, Todd. Thank you for your assistance. Yeah. He's out of a contract. I don't think he's coming back. And Jack Elliott is staying in Chicago. So those are some of the things going around in the league right now. For those of you that keep up with the league. And not just a couple teams. Well, Chris and I come on here twice a week, at least, just us two talking about the week that was, the week that's coming up, and then rumors. And then we have a roundtable episode. This week, the roundtable episode is going to be kind of small. There'll be just 2 people joining us, one from Miami, one from Vancouver, talking about the game and previewing it. So good times. All right. Chris, do you have any final words?
Wilfred Nancy may be overrated.
Cherundolo is underappreciated.
I'm just saying, maybe overrated.
Do you think? Well, if Ali goes with Nancy to Celtic, all of a sudden they need a new 9. But you know what? The way that Benteke plays, I think that he needs the service. I think that he'd be great in a place like, even though Minnesota plays the counter heavy, I would like him somewhere like Minnesota where he could just help them out with set pieces and just defend for their lives. Charlotte, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I honestly think he'd be great in a place like Vancouver. Berhalter with that accuracy of his crosses. Benteke is a big target in the middle. That's like 6 goals minimum per game.
NYCFC crosses the ball a lot also, and Alonso Martino's out.
Yeah. Soccer Daddy Dolo's not overrated.
It's going to be interesting. But Benteke, big free agent, so probably going to be the biggest free agent MLS-wise, right? We'll still get big names from across the pond or whatever. But as far as MLS players switching from one MLS team to the next free agency, I think that's going to be the biggest name we see. So it's going to be fun. It's very interesting to see where he ends up. I'm looking forward to it. So let's see. And Triple G is staying in Chicago. Yes, he is.
Is he staying? For sure he is. Are you kidding me? First time he gets here?
Yes, he got there. I thought the team was playing pretty well. They had a rough patch at some point, but they improved. They have a squad. They have a team, as Chris says.
They got a team. That's a team.
They got a team. They got players.
They got guys.
Yeah, they got Bamba. They got a bunch of guys. So it's going to be interesting. So I think Triple G for sure stays. So we'll see. Crew bottom of the table next season. Yeah, maybe. But we'll see. If you're listening on audio, please give us 5 stars and a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And for those of you in the chat that have been hanging out with us for the last 22 minutes, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We will be back. This is MLS Finals week, so we're going to keep bringing content and shows. So make sure that you turn that notification bell on and keep watching and rocking with us because we're having fun. The season's almost over. We got to soak it in.
Yes.
So until the next one, have a good one.